Okay, in this lecture, I'm going to show you how to use the AND and the OR functions. I'm going to show you the difference between the two, which is fairly subtle. And then I'm also going to show you how to put a little extra power into them by combining them with an if function. So let's take a look at the example we're using. We have our good old sales rep spreadsheet here, where we have our sales reps, and then we have their monthly commissions. We have an if function here that determines whether they've met their monthly target of $2,100, and it just comes back with no or yes. And then we have their total monthly pay, which just takes their commission, and if they've hit their target, then it adds in their bonus. And then we have their region. And what we're doing now is we're trying to determine whether the sales rep needs additional sales training. And we're first going to use the AND function to determine the answer to this just for the East region. And then at the end, we'll add in an if function and nest the AND function within the if function to create a more user-friendly text answer in this cell. So let's start with the AND function. We're going to say equals AND tab, and we're going to take our total monthly pay, and we're going to say if this is greater than their monthly commission, so that's our first logical test, and the region cell equals East, the word East, and we're putting it in quotes so it knows that it's a word, then it's going to come back with the answer of true. If both of these logic tests are false, then it's going to come back with an answer of false. So we'll hit enter, and you can see that it is the East region, but the total monthly pay is not greater than the monthly commission, so it's come back with an answer of false. So we'll copy that down and see what we get. And then of course we have to double check our answers, and you can see that this is actually not working correctly because the only person it says that's attending the training is the person in the East region who has met their monthly targets, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to go back in here. Rather than saying this being greater than this, I actually need to say if their total monthly pay is less than or equal to their monthly commission. So let's try that, and then we'll copy that down. That looks better. Now the only person that needs to attend the East region training is the one person in the East region who has not met their total monthly target. But if this is a spreadsheet that's going out to a bunch of employees and they need to be able to see whether or not they are supposed to go to this training, this isn't the best terminology for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an if function to this formula so we can add some much more logical, much more user-friendly text in here so that people can clearly see whether they need to go to the training or not. So I'm going to go back into this function, and I'm going to add an if function that's going to be combined with the AND function. So we type in if and tab. Then we have our same logical argument with the AND, but then we add a comma here, and we're just going to put in our text. The value if true, we're going to say quote attend Wednesday training, end quote. And then we say comma, and you'll see now it's asking for the value if false, and we're just going to say quote no training needed, end quote. We'll close our parentheses and we'll hit enter. Then we'll double click to copy that down, and now you can see it very clearly. Obviously the West region reps don't need to do the training, but also the East region rep that has met their monthly target, they don't need to go to the training either. So theirs all says no training needed, whereas the one East region rep who did not meet their monthly target, it'll say clearly attend Wednesday training. Okay, so that's how to use the AND function and then also how to nest it within the if function. Let's real quickly look at the OR function, and I'll just show you how that works. So we'll just go down here, click equals, then type OR tab to open up our parentheses. And if we wanted to do a similar function, we would say if our total monthly pay is less than or equal to our commission, or we're in the East region, so the region equals quote East, then we'll bring back a result of true. So we hit enter, and we'll copy this down, And this is just to give you an example of how the OR function would return different values than the AND function. So the OR function will return a value of true if either of the criteria are correct. So you can see that it first brought back our 2 reps that have not hit their monthly targets and brought those back as true. But it also went to this rep who has met their monthly target, and because they're in the East region and that's one of our criteria, it also gave us a true. So as a quick comparison, I'll put our AND function right here with the same criteria, less than or equal to the monthly commission, the region equals East. I'll copy that down. And so you can just compare the difference between the results that you would get from the OR function and the results that you would get from the AND function. But the real power of this comes in when you do it like this and you take an AND function and you nest it within the if function so that you can get these really specific and relevant results back to make the function more useful.